Okay, so this is a special, quite Franklin,
In person.
in person. All right, we got the whole thing going here. We're in State College. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Quite Franklin. I'm LeVar Arrington, but more importantly, that's Coach James Franklin. It's a big win, Coach. We're coming off of a big win. You go into a hostile environment. We talked about your familiarity with everything, and you guys get the win. What was your biggest takeaway from the game this past week versus Maryland?
Well, kind of like I say every week, we got to win, but we got to get better. And I thought we were able to do that. I thought we played complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams. Defensively, I thought it was up front. We played really, really well up front. And that's going to be important for us moving forward. You look at the interceptions that we were able to get specifically at the linebacker position was huge. Some young players were able to get in there, and that was even without one of our most explosive players in Chop Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
So having him back will be valuable. But I thought we took a step offensively. We made some plays in the passing game that we hadn't been making. That was really important step for us in the right direction. And I also think it helps not only with Drew's confidence in those settings, but also the wide receivers and specifically Dante Cephas. So that was big. Our tight ends continue to play well. And then from a special teams perspective, I thought we played great, being 3 for 3 on field goals and 6 for 6 on PATs. That was significant too.
There was balance. Like a lot of the criticisms that have been coming obviously has been talking about how explosive can the offense be. I saw some amazing. We know that Drew has amazing arm talent. His arm strength is amazing. But you mentioned Cephas. How important was it to establish that second receiver to Keandre heading into this stretch of the most important games that you're going to play? Because quite frankly, we get an injury that hurts us, but then Cephas steps up and really provided that balance that, well, seemingly what will be needed to be able to open up the center of the field for the tight ends and get Keandre going. How important was that to have that dynamic develop in this last game?
Yeah, obviously Trey coming into the year was the guy, Trey Harrison, that we thought was going to be the number 2. He had an injury early on, came back, and then got another injury. So now it was, okay, not only who's going to be the third receiver, but who's going to be the second receiver. Mm-hmm. And Dante stepped up in a big way. We had a lot of confidence coming into the season with him. There was some things that he was still getting comfortable with the offense. But now that you have Dante's established himself, Keandre's shown it, and then obviously what we have at tight end, that gives us some parts to kind of work with still another group of developing guys that we also think can play.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Jacobs is up for the Buckets. He's a semifinalist. I think he has played as well as any linebacker in the country. Like Jeremiah's son is doing well at Clemson. But you look at Curtis Jacobs, he has been a stalwart for this defense for several years now. So it's nice to see him get that type of acknowledgement and be on that semifinalist list. How have you felt about it? How has he handled it? How does that? I mean, this is linebacker you, and so to have Curtis get that type of recognition, I know for me, I'm pulling for him. But it was really, really exciting to see that we're back in the running for the award.
Yeah, I think first of all, you love when your guys get recognized for doing what they do. But I think on top of that, it's about consistency, you know, for us as a program, but really as players as well. There's guys that have maybe 1 week where they have 14 tackles, but then you don't see them the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Kurt's just been steady, consistent. He's really approached his entire Penn State career the right way. His family's been awesome. Penn State grad, the whole package. And this year, he's really put it all together. There's been less dips and valleys. He's been consistent every single week, playing at a high level. There's a lot of confidence that comes from that for Manny, that he knows what he's got at that position with that guy. And I think he's been kind of a steadying force for our defense as a whole.
I like that. I mean, defense has been playing awesome. It's a big one. This is, I mean, in all intents and purposes, this is the season. If you guys get past them, it's you gotta win out. Of course, it's got to be 1-0, but get past this week. I'll say it. We're heading towards a playoff bid and maybe possibly a Big Ten championship appearance. How do you manage knowing that you got runway? Ohio State, people want to say doom and gloom. It wasn't doom and gloom. This week, it's almost like it's a playoff game. This is a playoff for you guys. How are you approaching it? How is the team approaching it?
Well, I think you go back to that Ohio State game. They've been ranked the last 2 weeks the number one team in the country in the college football playoff poll. We lost to them by one possession on the road. You know, it was interesting. The rankings come out. They got people that have lost to unranked teams ranked higher than us, which is hard to comprehend. But that's outside of our control. Now we're playing Michigan at our place, at home. On film, I got to give Michigan credit. On film and on paper, they're a good football team. I got a ton of respect for what they do, how they do it, how they operate. The quarterback makes them go. That's where defensively we got to try to make him uncomfortable. He has not been uncomfortable all year long. They as a team have not been uncomfortable. They've been ahead on the scoreboard for most of the season. They've been ahead of the sticks. So we got to try to make them uncomfortable, not only as a team, but also from an environment standpoint. People say, well, it's 12 o'clock. I don't care. Between coffee and donuts, you need to be ready to go, and we need that place rocking on Saturday.
Will you guys use signs? I'm sorry. I try to keep a straight face. And that was a joke because it doesn't even matter. But, you know, the whole sign stuff going on. I feel for Harbaugh because I feel like he's a target. And you and I know in this business, when people become targets, they're targeted. And for whatever it's worth, it is what it is. But that can create a lot of confusion. How have you even addressed it to the team? Like, hey, listen, don't pay attention to this. Because I think we both know in these types of situations, stuff like that can actually bring a team together and they be like, it's us against the world, y'all. Like they coming after us,
that's right.
This, that, and the other. How have you addressed it? Have you broached the conversation with the guys?
No, I think this is more coaches and administrators and things like that than it's a players.
For the players,
issue.
okay.
Yeah, I don't really think it deals with them. We're focused on what we see on film, the coaches' film, between the 53 and the third from sideline to sideline. You know, I'll have a conversation with you offline. Yeah. But in terms of what we see on film, and obviously what we know is out there, the reality is you have to protect your signs every week. Everybody knows that. I think this is a little bit different situation, but are we going to do some things this week, you know, that maybe we haven't done, you know, the rest of the year? Yes, I think everybody has to based on the information that we have, but we do that every week. This just magnifies it.
I can dig that. All right, here's my last question. This is probably your hardest question of the interview, and I always hit you with one that really is like real difficult to answer. So I'm curious as to what you're going to hit me with this one. Who has been the most influential person? And take me off the list. All right, don't put me on the list. Okay. All right, I appreciate it, but don't put me on the list, Coach. Who has been the most influential person to James Franklin being who James Franklin is?
Personally, my mom. No doubt about it. Raised for the most part by a single mom and my older sister. She came to this country from England, had no support system, had no friends, no family, and then it didn't work out with my dad. So she poured her entire life into me and my sister. So she had a huge influence. She worked at my high school in a number of different roles. But no doubt my mom and the sacrifices that she made. And then professionally, I would say Ralph Regent.
Oh, wow.
You know,
okay.
You know, we just played the University of Maryland. That was my first big break in the profession. I was there for 5 years. We won a ton of games. I left and went to the NFL with the Green Bay Packers, and then ended up coming back as a coordinator for another 3 years. So I was there for 8 years with Ralph. Excellent football coach, demanding guy. Again, that was my first big break, first experience with major college football. We went to a ton of bowls. We were in a BCS Orange Bowl. We did a ton of really good things, ACC championships. So he probably had the biggest influence on me professionally.
Awesome, man. Hey, listen, make sure you guys are rocking and rolling. It's a stripe out weekend. All right. We get to play and be the hostile environment. Make sure you come out in force. Make sure you support Happy Valley United. That's right. Hit on demand so you can see these awesome interviews that take place. Hey, listen, it's a big week for us, all right? That's Coach Franklin. I'm LeVar Arrington. This is Quite Franklin. Make sure you subscribe and get that subscription at HVU, and you can listen to the audio on Up On Game Presents, all right? So make sure you check us out. Coach, good luck to you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you. All right. We are Penn State. We'll check you out next week. Take care.